Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I am so excited. I am going to be testing out a new to me brand, a new palette, and I am just absolutely thrilled. So this is the Ensley Reign Flourish palette, and I have never purchased from this brand before, but one thing I can tell you from purchasing this one is they know how to do packaging. This is so cute. So it comes in its own little box here, and then you open it up and the palette is inside. I think it is just so pretty. So this palette is, like I said, the Flourish palette. They also had one called Flutter, which I was so tempted to get both of them, but they are a little bit more on the expensive side, and this one was kind of expensive enough, and getting both of them would have broken the bank a little bit, but the other one was so pretty, and I honestly had such a hard time deciding between the two of them, but I ended up going with this one because the color story was speaking to me just a little bit more, and looking closely at the shades, oddly enough, this one seemed to be the more wearable one for me. So I will get into the color story here in a second, but again, this packaging is absolutely stunning. So you have your little sleeve here and then the actual palette. And here is the color story of this one. I think it is so pretty. This is a gorgeous kind of summer spring palette. So this does come with 12 shades, and I think it's an even mix of mattes and the shimmer metallic shades, which look so pretty. And the reason I think this one is the slightly more wearable of the two is I feel like it has a few more neutral leaning colors. You get like a darker brown. These more orangey shades here I feel like are a little bit more, for me personally, on the wearable side. The Flutter palette was a little bit more grungy, still so gorgeous, but I just felt like this one was going to end up being a more everyday one for me. But I am absolutely so excited to test this out. These shades look absolutely stunning, and like I said, I have not tried this brand before, so I'm really excited to get another indie brand on my radar and test this out. So I am planning on creating 2 looks with this palette, so if you're interested, then keep on watching. Alright, we can jump into our first look. So the first shade I want to take is this matte green shade, and this is the shade Petal Pop. And I want to focus this right in the inner portion of my crease. The shade is pigmented right off the bat. I was a little worried. I've heard good things about Ensley Reign, but this is definitely a more expensive brand. So I am really hoping that these are truly good quality shades, and so far, just this shade, I can already tell that they're going to be, so I am really happy about that. Alright, the next shade we're going to take is Flourish, and I'm going to use this one in the outer portion of my crease. I really like the size of this palette. I was looking at the other palettes that Ensley Reign has done, and they're definitely on the bigger side, and I'm someone who prefers a kind of 9 to 15 pan palette, so this 12 pan is definitely right in my sweet spot for size. So I'm super happy that they came out with these smaller palettes, and I feel like this brand is going to be one that is definitely on my radar from now on. It is really making me wish I had picked up the Flutter palette from them, but I will try and do without it. I am curious if these shimmers are going to be better on a finger or a brush, but I'm going to start with a brush and the shade Sunbeam. And I did wet my brush with this shade just because I do that with most of my shimmers. And I'm going to focus this on the outer half of my lid, the same sort of place that I put the orange through the crease. I'm just going to mimic this on the lid. It's definitely pretty. I want to see what happens when I take it on my finger. I barely tapped into this pan. I would definitely say these are more finger shades because that is absolutely stunning. All right, then I'm going to take the shade Garden Glow, and I think I'm going to just pick this one right up on my finger. Oh my word. These shades look kind of chunky in the pan, but they are so smooth once you get them on your finger and on your eye. This is gorgeous. I am definitely someone who prefers using a brush when applying shimmers. So I am going to have to see if maybe glitter primer will work better or just wetting the brush more and building it up more. But I can tell you these work very well on a finger. All right, then I'm just going to take the matte shades that were in the crease along my lower lash line as well and just kind of connect this look all together. I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to do this step, but I think I am going to take this shade here as some winged liner. So I am going to wet my brush with this shade just so it gets packed down right where I want it and just makes it a little bit more intense. And I'm not going for a super thick wing. I just want a little bit of a sharp liner across the upper lash line. All right, then for the inner corner, I'm going to take Buttercup Bliss. And this is just going to get nice and focused. This one is packing down nicely on just a dry brush. So I do like that. And this will go ahead and complete this look. I'm going to go add some mascara and be right back. All right, here is the final look. You guys, I am in love with this palette. Oh my word. These shades performed so nicely. It's so beautiful. I don't know that it's 100% worth the price tag, but they're definitely very, very good. If I was gonna spend this kind of money on an eyeshadow palette, this is definitely how I would expect it to perform. I really don't have any complaints at all with the shades I tested out. I think they're absolutely beautiful. The shimmers definitely are the star of the show with this palette, but I think the mattes themselves performed absolutely beautifully as well. I am going to be interested to see more how they blend together. I feel like I didn't do a ton of blending with this look, so I'm definitely going to focus on that a little bit more in my next look, but overall, I am absolutely so happy how this turned out, and I love it. So let me know what you guys think of this look, and we can jump right into the next one. All right, for the second look, we are going to start with the shade Pink Paradise, and I want to try taking very small amounts of this to start and slowly working on building it up. I know with the last look, it got very pigmented pretty much right away, so I want to start maybe a little slower with this one. But I am going to just be running this through my entire crease. So once I kind of have this base down, I'm going to work it along the upper edges and try and just kind of blend it out with itself a little bit. And I do feel like I have a lot of sparkle still on my face from the previous look, so if you can see that, that is why I just removed that eye look and started this one. So there is a little bit of sparkle left over from that look. All right, next I want to take the shade Thistle, and I'm going to start working this in my inner and outer portion of my crease and onto the lid slightly. I just want to work on kind of blending these two shades together. This isn't really going to deepen the look necessarily since it's not really a darker tone, but I feel like it will start adding in just a little bit of a different color, and hopefully we will get this to be a nice cohesive look. And then I want to start adding in more depth with the shade Caligna. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is once again going to focus on the inner and outer portions of my eye, and I'm focusing it a little bit more onto my crease as well, or onto my lid as well. These shades look so pretty together, and I think they're blending pretty good also. I feel like this shade looks a little bit more brown in the pan, but it's actually a nice plummy sort of purple shade. It's super pretty. Alright, next I'm going to take the shade Dahlia Magic, and I am picking this up on a wet brush, and I'm going to pack this right next to the inner and outer portions of my lid, right next to where we put that matte shade, but I'm not going all the way to the center because I want to put a different shade there. Then I want to take the shade Nectar for the center of my lid, and I'm going to see how a wet brush does for this one as well, but I might pick this one up on my finger because I just feel like it's going to perform a little better. I am going to pick it up on my pinky though because I want to be as precise as possible. And I feel like that's sometimes a little hard with a finger. Alright, then I'm going to take the shade Buttercup Bliss, like I did for the last look, and pop this in the inner corner. I feel like this is going to be my go-to inner corner shade from this palette. It's just super cute and light and sparkly. And that will do it for this look. I'm going to go add some mascara and be right back. Alright, here is the final look. Look number 2. I think this one is super cute as well. I feel like I did like the first one a little bit better just because I like that style of look and that color combo was super pretty, but I do really love how this one turned out as well. I think the shades performed really nicely. They blended nicely together. I would say this formula doesn't seem to be super beginner friendly. I feel like that kind of has to do with how just high impact and high shine the shimmers are, and they are a little bit messier, trickier to work with, but with that you get just these absolutely gorgeous shades. So that is kind of my thoughts on the palette a little bit, but overall I am so incredibly happy with it. I think it is beautiful. I think the shades do perform super nicely. If this is your color story, if you love just high impact pigmented shades, this palette is definitely for you. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Let me know what else you guys would like to see from me, and with all of that said, I will see you in my next video. Bye!